weekly update. Standing right here in front of our 300-gallon coral tank because we got in a bunch of new corals. We'll probably let Hayden or Reagan show you these, but a lot of really cool corals this week have come in. Let's get on to the update. Okay, so if you were paying attention to Facebook last week, you would have noticed at some point around Wednesday or Thursday, we did a spotlight fish tank, and that was a 110-gallon tank. Stands, canopies, we showed a few different things. This week, I want to spotlight on the Pro Clear aquariums. These are some of the coolest aquariums because of the price point. There are a lot of open top or very modern looking aquariums that are out right now that are very expensive and beautiful. These are beautiful and they're not expensive. So, walking around here, I want you just to look at a couple of the different styles. The Pro Clear 90, all of these come as semi-complete units. All of them have a sump, all your plumbing hardware that you need, the tank, the stand, and the canopy. You get to outfit them any way you want to. If you roll around here, you can see that they come in small sizes as well, both white and black colors. But these are very, very beautiful, really, really cool tanks. You can do them as planted tanks, you can do them as reef tanks, you can do them as just common freshwater tanks. But they have a beautiful profile, thick, beautiful glass, and everything is very posh about them. This one right here just came in yesterday, and I wanted to show this because it's a peninsula. Actually juts out off the wall, and you can see it from three sides. The overflow is in the back center, and it is just a really cool all-over fish tank. So, when you're in here next, or if you're in the market for a new tank, check out some of the tanks by Pro Clear.
Alright, it's Hayden here. So we just got a bunch of new corals in yesterday. So let's check them out and I'll tell you a little bit about them. So there's a bunch of Blastomussa frags, a bunch of nice new zoanthids in there, different kinds of GSP, just a bunch of random stuff, and most of that's pretty easy to care for. Then we also got in these nice colonies right here. They came in looking really good. Nice fabia right there. Mushrooms are very cool. A lot of the stuff's really easy to care for, so if you got some free time the next couple of days, definitely swing by and check them out.
Hi guys, welcome to the saltwater portion of the weekly update. We are outside because it is finally feels like summer and it's sunny and it's beautiful, and this is my type of weather. I don't like the winter. I'm very much a summer person. I like it hot. So this weather excites me very, very much. Aside from the weather, we've been working really hard this morning, as you can tell. Yeah, kind of gross. But the tanks look great and the fish are very healthy. And so now we're gonna go take a look at those healthy fish that I have for you. I'm gonna show you some predatory things for fish only tanks, as well as some really nice smaller fish to put in your reef tank. So let's go. All right, so I have in a really nice PIXIE hawkfish for you guys this week. These guys don't get very big, and like I talk about with all of the hawkfish, they actually don't have swim bladders, so that's why they don't swim around the tank. They will perch themselves on rock to rock, or angled like this, like you see. One fin's up on the rock, one's gonna be on the sand. They are fantastic little fish that don't add a whole lot of bioload to your tank, but add a lot of personality to your tank. They will just hop around from rock to rock and, you know, look super cute while doing it. These guys are carnivores, so meaty foods for them is gonna be perfect. They are a awesome little fish that is a great additional fish if you think your tank is full but maybe want something else with some personality. Adding a PIXIE hawk is gonna be an excellent, excellent choice. All right, so I know we have pointed her out in a previous weekly update video, but I would like to showcase her once more because she is still here. This is our TESSALATA moray eel. This girl is absolutely stunning. She's got great coloration, great pattern, great personality. She has made her home in this beautiful turbinaria coral. This is where she feels safe, so she's typically gonna stay curled up inside of it most of the day, other than when I feed. And then her head just pops out, her body still stays. So right now she's kind of moving all around. TESSALATA moray eels get very large, and they can be escape artists, so make sure you have glass lids, very sturdy lids, whatever you decide to choose for your tank, so that she cannot escape. TESSALATA moray eels are also a pretty aggressive eel and known to be fish eaters. So TESSALATAs do best in a tank by themselves. That way they can't eat the fish. Otherwise, even some of your big fish might go missing. Might be a very expensive snack for your TESSALATA. But other than that, these guys are great to have in your home aquarium. They are actually a very hardy eel. A big tank, this girl's already super large, so I would say nothing less than a 180 for her. 210 would be probably perfect. But if you're interested in a very predatory eel and you can relinquish a tank for her, just for herself, then she would be, hi baby, hi mama. Now she's gonna come out and say hello. I'll give you guys an opportunity to look. She's got really sharp teeth inside of that mouth. Also, be very careful when you do any type of maintenance inside of your tank with a TESSALATA moray. Make sure you always know where her head and where her face is. Also, that's very important because they can do some damage if she does decide to bite, but typically they kind of just hang out to themselves even when you are in the tank. But moray eels in general are just stunning creatures. They actually have fantastic personalities, as this girl is kind of showing you with her home in the coral. But if you want one of the most beautiful and eloquent fish in the sea, definitely I would recommend taking home the TESSALATA moray eel. So I typically don't point out damsels just because they're not my favorite, because of how mean they can be, but I have been getting in some specialty colored different types of little damsels for everyone, and people have been loving it. So these guys are going to be your AZURE damsels. They have a beautiful blue body with that nice yellow belly, yellow bottom fins, and that yellow tail as well. These guys can be more aggressive, so definitely make sure we house them with other more aggressive fish, nothing super peaceful. These guys don't get very big, only a couple inches, so they can even go in smaller tanks as well. Damsels are carnivores, so meaty foods for these guys is what they're going to enjoy the most. Let's see, where are they? Got a bunch of them in here. There we go. These guys are, like I said, super beautiful. They have very stark coloration with that blue and that yellow. Damsels are another great fish you can cycle your tank with. If you are not interested in cycling with clownfish, you can actually cycle with damsels. So if you want to start a new saltwater tank and think these guys are absolutely striking and beautiful, which they are, then go ahead and grab a couple of these damsels to cycle your tank with. So this is one of my favorite fish in the whole store. This is my saddleback grouper. He is a very handsome fellow, and I am using his food to have him come out so that you can take a better look at him. But saddleback groupers are a very predatory grouper. Anything that they want to eat that can fit in their mouth, I promise you they will put it in there and eat it. Saddleback groupers do get fairly large, so big tank for him. Definitely with fish bigger than his mouth, because as you can see, he's not even full grown yet, and he has a very decent sized mouth that can even open up bigger than what you see. So I've had this guy actually for a very long time, so I wanted to re-point him out to you. I have named him. His name is Tarzan. I don't know why I named him Tarzan, it just felt right, so that is his name. This guy loves rosy red minnows. He has, as long as I've had him, I have not been able to transfer him over to frozen food, and like I always say, sometimes they don't. You always have a chance of doing it with patience and consistency, but sometimes it just doesn't happen, and certain animals only like live food. But this guy has a great weight on him. I'll see if I can get him to, there we go, kind of swim about a little bit more. Beautiful coloration, striking patterns and colors. You've got those really dark brown bands on the back, which is how he gets the name Saddleback. It looks like he's wearing a saddle, but Tarzan is a fantastic fish with a wonderful personality, who is a fantastic eater, and if you look at his belly, you can tell. But he is phenomenal. So if you have a big predatory tank and have been looking for something with a lot of activity, color, and things like that, your Saddleback grouper or my Tarzan are going to be a fantastic option. Hi, buddy. All right, guys, I have a plethora of fish in this tank. I always like to show you some of my awesome community tanks and things you can put together. So I've got a lot of different things in here, and I'm gonna quickly touch on all of them. So this beautiful lemon yellow fish is a canary blenny. They don't get very big. They are freaking adorable. Like Chuck says, they look like they come from a Dr. Seuss novel. These guys are an awesome reef fish because they are not aggressive at all, and they will hang out with pretty much any other peaceful type of reef fish. They are very active and will add color and activity to your tank as well. Also in here is a diamond goby. This is a sand sifting goby. So if you need a fish to kind of sift your sand on the bottom because you're getting a little bit of that really gross algae growing on it, he is going to be fabulous because he picks up sand in his mouth. Oh, perfect timing. Thanks, buddy. And he will siphon it through his gills, and that's how he keeps your sand bed clean. You are perfect. Thank you for that. Also in the tank, who is hiding at the moment, is a beautiful royal grama. They are fuchsia purple in the front, yellow in the back half. There we go. Hi, little baby. They are actually a dwarf basslet. Not the peaceful of the most peaceful, but he's not mean at all. He can get along literally with almost anything. He is not going to cause a fight by any means. And this one is a great size, and even so, they don't get very big. So even in smaller tanks, he's gonna be an excellent addition to a reef tank. Also in here, swimming around, is a beautiful type of flasher wrasse, if you would calm down enough. There we go. Talk about a fish that adds activity to your tank. Get a wrasse. This is a beautiful flasher wrasse, also just as peaceful as your fairy wrasses and just as colorful as well. You can actually put multiple flasher wrasses together, again, just like your fairy wrasses. This one loves to swim around the tank and then lay down and take a quick nap. Wrasses are a weird species. We like to say they act wrassy. Sometimes they'll just lay like that. They are perfectly fine. They are just being a wrasse. But flasher wrasses are phenomenal and add color and activity. Last but not least in here is a beautiful yellow watchman goby. These have been really hard for me to get recently. For some reason, I don't know why, but true yellow watchman gobies have been hard. But I finally got one. He is bright yellow. I do have him in here right now with a pistol shrimp, so I'm hoping they'll pair up. It's a tiger pistol. Your tiger pistols are really good at pairing up with the gobies, so I'm hoping that happens. Yellow watchman gobies are a super peaceful fish, can get along with anything, a great addition to a reef. I lied, I have another fish in here. It's hard to see him because this is your transparent cave goby. So I didn't see him because he's transparent. But this guy is beautiful. He hangs out on the bottom. You can see that he is pretty transparent, pretty see-through, so you can kind of see all of his organs and things on the inside, which I think is super cool. All of the fish in this tank are carnivores, so mysis shrimp, brine shrimp for these guys. But this just kind of shows you a little bit of all the different type of fish that work very well together and get along, and a good example of things that you can put inside your reef tank.
Hey, it's Kevin. We got a lot of cool stuff in on freshwater this week, and I'm going to showcase some of the best looking things of what we got in. But by the way, don't forget, we have koi. We have lots of koi. We want to sell a lot of koi. I finally got in some emperor tetras. Some of you guys have been begging us to sell them out of our planted tanks, and we've been saying no. We got a batch in that we can easily catch and are readily available for your purchase. They came in looking really nice. Emperor tetras are prized as a good schooling fish in with longfin fish because they're less likely to nip than most other tetras because they don't really nip at each other when they're schooling. We got in some really nice looking ENDLER live bearers. These are actually a smaller variety of guppy. They will stay smaller than your regular fancy guppies. The males, of course, have a lot more color than the females do, like in most other guppy species. They do really well in small nano tanks in planted aquariums. We've been having a tough time getting in Oscars in lately. We got in a good selection of assorted Oscars. They are not that big. They're like a small medium size, but this is an excellent size to introduce them into a new tank with so they can grow up together and be a little more passive towards each other. We got in some beautiful rainbows. We got in some Madagascar rainbows, some excellent looking turquoise rainbows, and some beautiful Bosemani rainbows. These guys usually do well in with large community fish, sometimes mixed in with some semi-aggressive community fish, depending on the types that you're doing. Usually a really good dither fish. We got in some black spotted spiny eels. These guys will get relatively large. They will get up to about 20 inches or so, full size. They're omnivorous. They do eat both plant and animal matter. They prefer frozen bloodworms off the bottom as their favorite food. It's like steak to these guys. I had to get in at least one psychotic monster fish. This is a purple wolffish. He'll probably top out about 8 inches max size. He will eat anything that fits in his mouth and is capable of biting some fish in half, so they will fit in his mouth, so use caution choosing take mates. We got in some really nice looking lavender gouramis. These are very closely related to your regular blue gouramis, got more of a purplish color to them. They get about 6 inches max size, good for a semi-aggressive aquarium. We got in some juvenile Bala sharks. These guys will need a very large tank. I prefer at least a 48-inch tank for these guys because they do grow large, and if you grow them in too small of a tank, their spine will grow crooked. So please make sure that you have adequate housing for these guys. We've got in some beautiful PALEATUS cories. These are also called, often as a trade name, a common name, peppered cory. These guys reach a little bit over 2 inches. They can actually live about 10 years long. They are a long-lived little fish. They're an excellent scavenger for any community tank. I got in some sunset thick-lipped gouramis. These guys do well with large community fish. They're not quite as aggressive in their behavior as the gold or the blue or the lavender gouramis or the kissing gouramis, but they do get bigger than the dwarf gouramis. So I don't know that I would actually advise keeping them in with dwarf gouramis unless you had a large tank. We got in some nice looking American flag killifish. These guys actually serve a function in your tank. They will eat beard algae, better than most other scavengers that are sold for eating beard algae. They seldom reach anything over 2.5 inches. The males are more colorful than the females. They will work well with larger community fish. We finally got in some high-fin banded sharks. A lot of my clients have been looking for these guys. These guys would make a great addition to your pond, actually. They will grow quite large. They do get over 2 feet long, full size. They actually are an algae grazing fish that would be good on helping keeping down some of the algae growing on your pond liner. They do fine in South Carolina year-round, so you would not have to take them indoors. We got in a good batch of just regular plain old black mollies. The reason why I stock these guys is because they can be converted to total saltwater, and once you convert them to total saltwater, they will actually eat cyanobacterial algae. Very beneficial to have, actually, in that aspect. We got in some little horned nerite snails. The horned nerites would be excellent for smaller tanks. These little guys clean really proficiently, really good in a planted tank, and they also would do well in the smaller tanks because of their small size.
So hopefully you just saw a bunch of really cool saltwater and freshwater fish. The other thing I want to draw your attention to before we get out of here is all the live plants that will be coming in this week. This tank is getting prepped for them. They're coming in today, so by the time you see this, we should have them. Have a great weekend.